Hi guys, I'm Sarah and I'm going to show you today how to make cottage cheese. I actually haven't tried this before. I do replace quite a lot of my cheese with labneh because I make Greek yogurt, and with that you can strain it out further, make labneh. It is super duper cheap. It's a good weekend option because you can serve it up with crackers or spread it on bread or whatever. But I'm going to have a crack at cottage cheese because it looks really easy. The only recipes I've seen online make a large amount, like they start off with 4.5 litres of milk. I'm going to halve that recipe, seeing as I'm experimenting and I don't want to waste too much stuff. So I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to halve that, so 2.25 litres of milk. Apparently you can use any type of milk, whether it's full fat milk, whether it's trim milk. I'm just going to use standard or blue top milk as it's called here in New Zealand. Now also I'm going to make this with milk made from milk powder, just the good old Pam stuff, so as good as any. I've put 2.5 litres in, I'll do 2.25. I'm sure I can work out amounts. So I've put 2.5 litres of milk into this pot. Turn the heat on. I'm just going to put it on to a medium heat, medium to lowish heat, because obviously milk scorches to the bottom really easily. So you just want to heat it up slowly. You want to bring it up to about 50 degrees Celsius. So I've got a thermometer that I'll measure mine with. Apparently it doesn't matter too much if you don't get the temperature absolutely spot on, but just stirring it every now and then. Okay, so this is now at about 50 degrees. Just to give you an indication of what it is, if I dunk my finger in, it feels like a nice hot bath. Maybe slightly hotter than average bath. So if you want to use that as an indication if you don't have a thermometer. Next ingredient, white vinegar. So I'm going to put about 7 tablespoons of white vinegar into this milk, and it should curdle, fingers crossed. Incidentally, I also use this as fabric softener in the washing machine. You only need a little bit and it works pretty good. Also mix it 50-50 with water, put it in a spray bottle, clean your house with it. I just want to give that a really gentle stir for about a minute. I'm actually thinking I might add 1 more tablespoon. I might add another one. Feels like it needs a little bit more from what I saw. Look at that, it's kind of going all, that's all kind of going chunky. I'm going to put a lid on this and leave it for about 30 minutes. Okay, so to strain it out, we just need a big bowl to catch all the whey in. Top of that, I'm going to put a colander with a cheesecloth, or you can use a muslin cloth. You just pick them up from like hardware stores and that sort of thing. Might attend sell them. With this into here. So I leave this straining. Okay, I'm just doing it over my big pot now because I had a lot more whey coming out than what I anticipated. I'm used to making my yogurt and that doesn't quite drip the whey as quickly as this is. But I can see, look at that, stuff's happening here. I've had this draining for about 2 hours and it is looking very much like cottage cheese, which is pretty cool. Now, first of all, the amount of whey that I got out of here. Look at all of that. Now, am I just going to throw this out? No, I am not. If you go way back to my first ever YouTube video, which was how to make crumpets, I should say crumpets. They're sort of my version. They're a bit different, but they're yummy. Anyway, I used the whey to make those. I also use whey to make 2-ingredient dough with some whey and self-raising flour. Make some scrollies, put them in the oven, the lunch boxes. It's awesome. You can use it instead of water and in some cases instead of milk in recipes. If you're substituting whey for milk, you might need to add a bit more fatty substance like butter or something.
It's cottage cheese.
Can't hope for higher praise than that. Mission achieved. I mean, it is cottage cheese. It is very, very plain. It really just...
If you add a bit of salt to that, it'll actually firm up a bit more too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because normally the cottage cheese you buy from the store, it does have salt added to it, and I think it needs that. Just maybe a little bit. Now what I've seen some people do, because apparently some people don't like the sort of, if there's any of the whey left over, they don't like the vinegary, acidy flavour to it, especially if they've used lemon juice instead of vinegar. Apparently it can taste quite acidy. They roll it up into a big ball and actually run it under water. I'm not sure we need to do that. I think it's fine. I actually don't mind that slight sort of whey undertones to it, but I'm just going to put a few wee shakes of salt in here, give it a very gentle stir up because we still want to keep that chunkiness, and I might just leave it for another hour and then we'll try it with some crackers. So I'm not sure how much salt I'm just putting in, I'm just, you know. So this is drained out quite nicely. I'm just going to weigh it, see how much we've got there. $699 grams of cottage cheese. They put the price of milk powder up last week, typical. So it's the milk for 2.5 litres would come to $2.38. The vinegar would come to 17 cents. So $2.55 for, let's pretty much say 700 grams. For 500 grams at Pack and Save, it was $5.95. So if you buy cottage cheese every week, there's a couple of dollars saved right there. And if you use it, of course, to replace your normal cheese in sandwiches or whatever, that's an even bigger saving. All right, the cottage cheese will go to its natural prey. You guys tell me what you think. It does have a slightly different texture to the store-bought stuff. It's maybe not quite as clumpy.
More mushy at first.
I mean, of course you can drain it out as much as you want to drain it out. But that's cottage cheese, that little bit of salt, that just lifted it. That's pretty cool. That is perfectly acceptable cottage cheese, especially for the price.
Needs a bit more salt.
More salt, you reckon? That little bit of salt made quite a lot of difference, I reckon.
Alright, it's cottage cheese.
I mean, if you want to stir chives through it, you know, spring onion, I could stir
a bit
some.
of pepper. Ooh,
yeah,
boom.
I was just thinking that. Bit of pepper, bit more salt. But I mean, it's cottage cheese. It's basically milk. It's a blank canvas, you know. So
Yeah, no, it's good.
cool.
Bonus.
Give this a go. That's a neat wee experiment, and hey, it'll save a few dollars. So, hit like, as always, leave me a comment, hit subscribe, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.